The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, callers, and advisors on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
The taxi and livery unions warned by the Department of Road Traffic, get it together or face the full brunt of the law. Tonight, we speak with the acting comptroller of road traffic and then an industry insider on what's really happening and who's resisting a new way of doing business at LPIA. And then later, meet a 15-year-old pilot who spent the entire summer, get this you all, in the United States. Then he went to Europe and then he went to Africa. He's here to talk about it. It's all straight ahead this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. The Road Traffic Department is caught in the middle of a standoff between the taxi and livery drivers' unions. The issue is who has the rights to collect fares from LPIA? We're going to ask that question right now this evening. Dr. Melvin Monroe is acting comptroller of the Road Traffic Department. Good evening to you. It's good to have you here. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, and thank you for joining me.
Good evening, Shanae. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Well, let's just start with that question right there. Who has the rights to collect fares from LPIA, the taxi union or the livery union?
Well, Shanae, any franchise holder who have gas can collect fares, but it's just the way it's collected. So in these circumstances, when you talk about the taxi and livery, each one have a role to play.
Yes.
And each one has what is considered regulated and unregulated collection of fares.
So who is regulated then and who is unregulated? Because we have seen and we have watched for years now the transportation industry morph into what it is right now, and it continues to be transformed. So who is regulated and unregulated?
When I say regulated and unregulated, when it comes to the taxi, the fares for taxi are regulated, but the fares for livery is unregulated. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about regulation.
Okay. Okay. Now, is the government, is your ministry, yours, your department, the one that you are the acting comptroller of, are you fearful of enforcing some law? Because last evening, the taxi union held a meeting and it stood very firm, 10 toes deep on its position that it will not at all meet further with you and the livery drivers union, and that it'll continue to do what it wants to do, in fact, even threatening industrial action.
Actually, when you hear the taxi union talk about threatening industrial action, it tells you their mindset, it tells you what exactly they're prepared to do to deprive persons from the economical pie. And they can stand 10 toes deep, and we will also stand 10 toes deep when it comes to enforcement.
Are you surprised at whatever this is? Because the taxi union says, listen, according to the law, no such thing as livery drivers exist. I want to know how old is that law, number one. But they said no such thing as livery drivers exist. They have every right, them, meaning the taxi union, to be the only ones collecting fares, accepting and inviting passengers into their vehicles to transport them wherever they are. Are you surprised at how stubborn this issue has become and the position that the taxi union in particular has taken?
I'm not surprised considering their president and his position. But what I am surprised about is the position they take as relates to believing that it's only on one side. It's only one side. It's not one-sided, it's both sides. And the government has made every effort to bring both sides to the table. Taxi union decided they're not coming to the table. And with the government wanting both sides to come to the table so we could come to an amicable resolution so that members of the public, so that the tourism product could be protected, so that we can have an easy flow and everybody can be able to have a piece of the economical pie because it's enough for everyone.
Do you agree with the position of the livery drivers that say, listen, transportation has changed? People have different desires and they want to ride differently. In fact, many of them prefer the type vehicles that the livery, for example, offer, and others prefer to take taxis. Do you support that position? And if so, why hasn't this law, which I still haven't heard how old the law is, but why hasn't it been amended to be able to reflect what's happening now at LPIA?
Actually, what I can say to you is, from the inception of the law provides for taxi drivers, livery drivers. From the inception of the law, so
which law? The Road Traffic Act?
The Road Traffic Act provides for livery drivers and taxi drivers. Both are franchises to me. So it existed. It isn't something new. Now, in terms of evolution, yes, but it's not new.
This is quite interesting because, you know, the central argument from the taxi union is that the livery operation does not have the legal authority to operate in the manner that they are operating at LPIA. That is quite amazing to know that in the law as it stands right now today, there is a provision for taxi and livery. It is quite stunning. Now, the taxi union, they have protested before. We know that at LPIA. What is it that your department is going to do? How long will you exercise patience to see this happen and allow it to continue to happen?
Once you make that send out the communication, and it is clear that we will enforce the law as we need to. Enforcement is automatic, but at the same time, we provide education, and we ask for these two sides to come to the table for an amicable resolution. What is interesting, Shanique, is that you have Belinda Wilson, who is the president, the umbrella, for one side. You have Obi Ferguson at KC on the other side. And you would have read and seen that Belinda's position was clear. Come to the table. That is also the position of road traffic and the government. Come to the table for an amicable resolution. There's no need for a strike. There's no need for that. You can come to the table so the matter can be resolved.
Or for what has become a hostile situation. There is no need for that because what is the potential damage to tourism and who will take responsibility for it?
And when you hear one side is asking to the other side to come to the table, when you hear the government is asking for them to come to the table, only one side can take responsibility when there's chaos. That would be who do not want to come to the table for an amicable resolution.
You keep asking for this amicable resolution. Obviously, the taxi drivers union is looking you in the face and say, dude, you stand down and go have several seats. What is it that your department is willing to do right now this evening to send a firm and strong message, and what timelines are you working with to get this matter resolved?
Actually, we cannot force persons to come to the table. But in the meantime, we will continue to enforce the laws that exist, which means that we have persons in place at all locations where taxi drivers, where livery drivers operate, to be in a position to enforce the law as they see it.
So you can give me no date this evening on when the government will say, listen, right here and no more. So the Bahamian people have a clear set date in mind of when you will say, since you all have stalled all this time and refused to come and sit like intelligent adults, then this is what the government will decide. You cannot provide that date.
The reason I can't provide that date for you tonight is because I cannot speak for the Minister of Transport. He will have to be the one to communicate his position.
Meanwhile, what do you want to say to the taxi and livery drivers?
You know, in the words of a man who has been beaten, Rodney King, can't we all just get along? Let's find a way to get along. That's enough. There is enough of the economical pie for everyone. We just need to find a way to get along. And that's what I would say to them.
Yes. Yes, I thank you. When you met on August 5th, was there an agreement that you made with the taxi drivers that they are maybe standing on?
Can you repeat that?
When you met with the taxi union on August 5th, was there an agreement that you made with them that they are standing on and holding you to?
I'm not aware of any agreement that was made that they are holding me to at this time.
Well, there you have it, you all. The Road Traffic Department and the Acting Comptroller of Road Traffic, Melvin Monroe, is saying this evening, taxi drivers, livery drivers, come to the table. Let's get the matter sorted out. Even more importantly, he says the Road Traffic Act, as it stands now, meaning the law, provides for both taxi and livery drivers to operate from wherever they in the country, and in this instance, Lyndon Pindling International Airport. And so we'll see exactly how this pans out. I thank you very much, Acting Controller. Thank you for joining me here on Beyond the Headlines this evening. Sir, we will continue to watch this matter as it drags on unnecessarily. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
When we come back, an insider talks about how this is impacting the industry, how it's impacting his portion of the industry in particular, and what the answer should be. This is Beyond the Headlines. Back in a moment.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Uh-oh, luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at that. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, presses you, and entertains you 24/7.
Your comfort starts here. At CoolTech, we are your #1 Lennox provider, catering to the entire Caribbean. We offer refrigerants, compressors, thermostats, and more, all built for reliability and efficiency. With expert technicians ready for installation and support, we deliver comfort you can count on, all season long. Call CoolTech today at 242-341-5665. That's 242-341-5665.
Think you know a lot about money? Then prove it. What if one sound could win you big cash? Listen carefully. Then tell us exactly how much money went through the machine. One guess, one sound, one chance to win. Listen, guess, win. It's the sound of money. Brought to you by 103.5 The Beat. Powered by Island Lux Quick 5.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate to Hands for Hunger.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Remember, we are talking and focusing in on that letter sent earlier today from the Road Traffic Department to the taxi and livery drivers unions to come together, continue this dialogue, make sense of what's become really a standoff between taxi drivers and livery drivers at the Lyndon Pindling International Airport. Well, I wanted to get a driver's point of view, someone who is in daily operation, operating business at the LPIA, and to understand exactly what's happening. And so, of course, you all are well aware that one of my panelists does so daily, in fact, even throughout the night, oftentimes. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you here, Ellington Ferguson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shanique. Thank you for having me. Good evening, Bahamas.
I want to ask you this. Can you clearly explain what your license says on it, and what does it permit you to do?
My license is a public service license. On the face of it, to the average person, it may appear to be the same as the regular driver's license. As I can show you, Shanique, you can see here, that's my regular driver's license. And you can see how that looks. And this is my public service driver's license. You see the P there.
Yeah.
That's what makes the difference. This is the same driver's license that most livery, tour bus, cab drivers hold. Well, mine may be a little different, or there are some of us, because when you go to sit for this license, you can sit for a taxi badge, you can sit for a jitney badge, or you can sit for a tour badge, which covers basically all. This, what I got, was a tour badge. So this cover, I can drive a taxi, a jitney, or anything in public service driving.
I'll tell you, last night, and it's not new, but I'll just go to the latest meeting that they had. The taxi union held a meeting and said, listen, no, this, in fact, the road traffic department is in violation and infringing on the law. So are you all in terms of operating and competing for fares from LPIA. Are you all breaking the law? Are you all unfairly giving competition to taxi drivers at LPIA?
Shanique, I wouldn't say unfairly giving competition. There's a sect of people that request luxury service. And this whole thing with liveries operating from LPIA, operating on call-up systems, developed because of a demand. The original persons that started doing that were actually cab drivers who had like stretch limousines or sedans and that stuff. And people began to request these services. People would walk out of the airport who did not pre-book with some of the bigger companies, and it became so often that some of those cab drivers decided that they would have a limousine line at the airport. But they were also taxi drivers and had taxi on their vehicles. To the point then, as luxury people who really know about luxury come out and start requesting these service, one time a gentleman, his kid said, "Dad, it's a taxi." They had the taxi cab plate and the taxi sign on the door, and the client refused it. Say he don't want a stretch taxi, he want a limousine. And so those original...
So because they saw TC on the plate, taxi cab.
TAXI. And the big sign on the door, they refused.
They said, no,
it's not a limousine service.
Not what we want.
It's a taxi.
We want a specific type of service of vehicle.
Not something that somebody hopping in a taxi later on. People are very, very astute to those type of service. People
and so this is how this livery service developed.
The online system, yes. That's how the online on-demand at the airport system developed. The government then moved, Glenys Hanna Martin then was responsible. And so they implemented a policy that allowed for livery line at various hotels, airports and ports, etc.
Because of the demand?
Because of the demand, absolutely.
And the request,
and
in fact.
From our visitors that's coming.
Right.
As our industry grow and morph, we must be able to adapt and be able to embrace the changes that comes with it.
What is your response to the taxi drivers who, to this very moment, say you all should not be doing what they're doing at LPIA?
No, I would say, and Shanique, I also served at one point in time as president of the Limousine Association, and back then it was Wesley Ferguson. He served as president of the Taxi Cab Union, and we had many back and forth. Yeah, he was a very strong leader in the taxi union too. And but the thing is that we discussed is, what is the government going to do? While I hear the cab drivers, and the livery is not going to go away. It's a part of business. It's a part of the travel industry. It's not going anywhere. We must all work together. I think the real problem is not only for taxi and livery directly to work together. I think the government have a place in there to do taxi going on some of the wording within the law, okay? That is different, the livery operation different from cab operation. And so while the government put in place a policy, then what they said we should really do is make it law, amend the law, change the wording of the law to reflect the policy of the government.
What I spoke with in the first segment, the acting comptroller of road traffic, Melvin Monroe, who says, no, it's in the law. Livery drivers are in the law, and
Yes,
they
they are.
operate legally.
Yes, livery is in the law. Again, the wording of it is what causing this big mishap, because the wording, for example, of the livery says that a livery shall operate from its usual place of business. The wordings for taxi cab does not quite say the same thing. It talk about wherever a taxi stand has been established at airport or hotel and all that type of stuff. Okay? And so cabs drivers' argument are that your usual place of business is where you get your business license in. Okay? So while the government agree that this service is needed, my thing is quell the confusion. If you, as the government, decide that this is what we're going to work with, this is what we're going to work with, make sure that the wording is clear to all, that all can understand this is what I mean.
Do you think the government, through the road traffic department, is reluctant, is afraid, is perhaps not wanting to step into those waters, and making the language very, very clear of what can and cannot, in fact, maybe to support what is happening?
I mean, I can't see, Shanique, why should they be clear? Because I remember during my tenure, the government put Mr. who is then the director of labor. John Pinder was then the director of labor. And they had myself, Wesley Ferguson, his representative, one or two of my representatives, who's now deceased, and we met in John Pinder's office. And the taxi union said, if this, that's what the president then said, if this was what the government wants to do, then make it law. And we will have to accept it as law. So it's the onus is on the government. I don't see why they should be afraid to do it.
So the onus then now seems to be to stop all this thing and the standoff and threats of protest and shutting down and blocking up and all this stuff. The onus is on the road traffic department.
The initial onus is on the road traffic department. Apart from there are some other issues as to how they work at the airport. Now that's another thing. But the main issue is rests with the government right now.
If you were to speak with the road traffic department and the acting controller, what would you say tonight?
When I was in the seat, one of the things and the type of meetings that I hold, all stakeholders. I mean, we had meetings with the tour company, the tour association, road traffic, everybody at once, not no fragmented meeting with this one, then you go over the street and you meet with that one. That will always cause problem. I think you need to bring all stakeholders together.
Well, as he said, how do you, you can't force people to attend a meeting. Apparently, the taxi union appears reluctant to meet with your group.
I don't think the taxi union
and sit with road traffic.
I think the taxi union is kind of wary, and really there's been no real leadership in this whole thing recently. For somebody to call all sectors and say, hey, come, sit down. This is the path that we're going to take. This is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to be. And I think that is all that needs to be done. And we need clear and concise pathway. I've offered myself, even to road traffic or the minister. I've had a number of conversations with previous controllers as it relates to helping to bring some closure and some sense to all of this. This is simple. It's not as complicated as all of this fighting back and forth between. There are some cab drivers at the airport and livery drivers get together very well. Very well. And they work together. I just finished doing some work just now. And other than myself, everyone else that worked with me was cab drivers. Everyone else. So, I mean, there's some things that we should be fighting for in this industry, like hotels in the transportation business, but we're fighting each other.
So this makes no sense right here.
Absolutely.
A distraction from what the bigger issue should be.
Fighting for pennies, while these resorts are taking the millions from us. And so it's a simple
if
issue.
you are sitting, since Monroe says, and we have seen in writing and the posture of the taxi cab union that, listen, they basically, I guess, had enough, as you say, wary, they are not doing any further talking. If you were sitting opposite right now, opposite a table, at the same table, just sitting opposite the president of the taxi cab union, what would you say to him right now?
I have a very good, and you wouldn't believe it, I have a very good relationship with Tyrone Butler. Very good relationship. Right now, Shanique, I could guarantee you, I could say, Tyrone, come, let's go have a talk. And we will have a conversation. And if the others that are truly interested in fixing this and bringing this together, we can have a conversation, say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is what needs to be done, this is how we're going to fix this. So it is an easy fix. While Tyrone is fighting for his members, I can say to Tyrone, we got to fix this, all of us Bahamian, all of us trying to work. Let's do what's fair for cab drivers. Let's do what's fair for livery operators.
And what do you think is fair? Since cab drivers are the ones crying really that you all are just trampling all over their turf and making it difficult, what is fair?
What is fair for cab drivers? There are some smaller nuances as it relates to how they work the call-up system. And there are some livery drivers that infringe, and there are some cab drivers that have some infringement. Again, all of these things need to put on top of the table, and clearly, let's work it out. This is what is going to be forward. If you break this, if you contravene this, this is going to be a penalty, whatever it is. It just needs to be made clear. There's too much gray areas in the business right now. I've watched this business almost come to collapse. I've watched a overcrowding and a rush into this business that it's kind of out of control right now compared to when I was in it. It's basically out of control, but it's not gone too far. It can be brought into control. It can be dealt with.
Well, it must, because then how have you seen a lot of this standoff and argument and tension play out at LPIA in front of tourists? How have you seen that play out?
I've seen that, and it's always sad. And for me, it lacks the kind of leadership that we need to really bring about any real change. It's the level of disruption. It's only going to hurt all of us, give us a bad name, and it's going to do no one no good. It's going to do no one no good. Let's come to the table. Let's not move from the table. If it takes us 2 weeks, 3 weeks, let's stay to the table until we get everything ironed out. When we leave from the table, we go out there and we go out there to work.
Ellington Ferguson, I thank you very much for giving some insight, fresh pair of a fresh voice to it, and insight about what's really happening from where you stand and where you sit and how you see it on a daily basis. Thank you very much. We will continue to follow what's happening at this whole LPIA taxi livery situation, as well as the Department of Road Traffic or the Road Traffic Department. Thank you very, very much. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to shift gears and speak with a teenage pilot. Yeah, you heard me. That's after the break.
Running out of space? We've got room for that. Welcome to Skyline Storage, your trusted self-storage solution. Skyline Storage offers units from 5x10 to 10x30, climate controlled or standard dry. Perfect for home or business. Located in Westfield Commerce Park, Western New Providence. Your belongings stay safe with gated access and 24/7 surveillance starting at $175 a month. Reserve, pay, and move in online. No phone calls, no paperwork. Visit SkylineStorage.com. Skyline Storage. Storage made simple.
Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. We're going to shift gears now to a wonderful little feature. In fact, this group of students have been making the rounds, if you've seen them, being interviewed in other places. Well, this evening they have stopped here. Catherine International Academy is doing major things in the field of aviation. I mean, the academy is already quite impressive, but they also have an aviation program. Did you know that? In fact, there are about 20 students enrolled in the specialized aviation training program, and the program works to give them a number of life skills and exposure to that, but especially international exposure in the field of aviation to get them experienced even at their young ages. This summer was amazing for a number of the students, and we'll meet one of them in just a minute. But I'd like to welcome both my guests in this segment. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Corporal Desiree Bodie. She is, of course, a police officer, but works with the Catherine International Academy as head of the aviation program. And Kyler Seymour, who is 15. Kyler is going to the 11th grade this fall semester, but Kyler flew was this your first flight, Kyler?
Yes, Mom, my first flight from Andros to Nassau.
Listen, you all, Andros to Nassau, get that. He did this at 15, so just a few months ago. Now, we are seeing a lot of photographs right now. Look like some of that happened over the summer, some international experiences that you all had. Good evening, welcome to Beyond the Headlines. And by the way, just talk us through some of the things we're looking on at the screen. This is quite amazing to have, Corporal, I think I'll start with you. I see you right there, Kyler. This is quite amazing, Corporal Bodie, to have these students experience some simulation. Obviously, this is real, what we're looking at right now. Look at that, Corporal. Look on the screen. That's him getting ready to take off from where?
Andros to Nassau.
You are kidding. How was that?
That whole experience was that was amazing. That's something that you can never say that you do at your very young age, or something that you could say that you've accomplished in your life under the age of 18.
So and this was on your birthday.
Yes, Mom,
You were turning 15 when you were behind, I don't even have to say a wheel, in the cockpit. That's it. I knew it, you heard I said that. You were in the cockpit on your birthday, on your 15th birthday, which was just a few months ago, Kyler. Kyler, just describe that for us, going down the runway, taking off, soaring over the pine fields of Andros, and then flying into Nassau, which is about, 12, 15 minutes?
Well, actually, it's about 30 minutes, but being able to go inside the cockpit and being able to actually take off inside the plane is something that's eye-opening, as you be able to see the scenery, you be able to look down, you could say, oh, that's Andros beneath me. I actually took this plane up into the air to fly from Andros to Nassau.
Now, let's talk about the training that got you there. And Corporal, we'll talk to you in a minute, because you actually are spearheading and steering these students who were enrolled in the aviation program at Catherine. You're staring this, but Kyla, what was the training to prepare you for that? Because you don't just go into a cockpit and fly.
No. So actually, we went through a 6-month training program where we actually started in a Catherine aviation program, which then after that we met Captain Brody and a fellow of the other Royal Bahamas Police Force aviation team. After that, we continued our training to Blue Angels Flight Academy, where we then
Where's
finished. I kind of don't remember the area, but where that is. It's close to...
Corporal, where is it? The Blue Angels Academy.
It's at the street south in the Pineapple Plaza.
Here in Nassau.
Right here in
There's a
Nassau.
flight school. Go ahead. So go, Kyla. How was that experience, even just going and attending flight school at the age of 14?
I mean, being able to go there and being able to actually touch and being able to actually control the simulations, as actually there was me and a fellow other student that we went and we did a separate flight. We did the simulation from Angeles to Nassau to see how it would be inside of the cockpit.
And I imagine something that you couldn't even dream of and you couldn't imagine versus doing it real time, and the training for it are two different things entirely, I'm sure.
Very different. As the simulation, you have guided steps. When you're in the plane, you also have that instructor on you, that instructor to be able to tell you what you need to do, what you need to have, and everything to make sure everything's set. In the simulation, is very different from real life, as that's actually your life you playing with inside that plane and not a simulation that you just on.
You know, oops, no time for oops.
Any oops, that's it.
I tell you, I'm sorry, you know, and we all know, we know that only too well. Corporal Bodie, let's just talk about this amazing program, this aviation program, and we'll talk about your summer experience in a second, Kyla, but let's talk about this amazing aviation program that exists at a Catherine that you head.
Well, thank you so much for the question. Between the public-private partnership between the Royal Bahamas Police Force and Catherine, we like to thank the Commissioner of Police, which is both past and present. When it comes to youth engagement, we definitely are the organization that embraces that opportunity to do so. This is one of the opportunities among many for officers to extend ourselves in the community as well. I started with a Catherine when it comes to the aviation career awareness, because we feel the need for that, especially when it comes to awareness, education, and opportunity for our young people. And I embraced that opportunity as being a pilot and also a certified instructor. I would also say too, hats off to Dr. Higgs, who embraced every opportunity and every idea that I come up with to expand that idea within the in her school. Yes.
This is really awesome, and of course, as you heard her say, she is a pilot with the Royal Bahamas Police Force. What they call it, the
Yes, we're in the Air Support Services.
The Air
branch.
Support Services. But again, this is the force in their sort of role in giving back to the community, working with the students of a Catherine. Now, 20 students enrolled in the aviation program through the force and its partners with the Catherine. What kind of life skills, lessons, and just other than getting in, and as Kyla said, flying, like this the real deal. This ain't, we no more in the simulations and doing, we are actually flying as he experienced, and we saw the video. What kind of other life skills are imparted to the students enrolled in this program?
Well, from this program, I began with the fundamentals. The fundamentals are the regulations that are required, that are both local and international. We speak to mindset, discipline, time management. We speak to, when it comes to back to regulations again, we speak to disqualifying means of flight training, meaning that you have to be healthy, You also have
So they have to have good habits, good lifestyle habits, also be very disciplined, because other than that, that'll be taken away from them.
Yes, automatically.
Very good, very good.
You will find that any person, especially when we talk to the flying community here, let's use LPIA as an example, no one can be employed at the airport unless you are able to pass the screening process. Another part of disqualifying medically, you also have a clean police record in order to work anywhere globally. So we impose on students to ensure that you maintain that.
Stay focused and don't get caught up in other activities that some students can get distracted by on school campuses.
Exactly. That translates into your years where you'd want to do something more meaningful, and that kind of takes that opportunity away from you. So we focus on those items especially, yes. Then we speak about also things related to the training part of it, which is the weight and balance. We speak to weather, which is extremely important.
So you train them, so they are trained in meteorology, like you're saying, that they have to know how to balance an aircraft, because these are smaller aircraft, we know that. So they have to know how to balance it. Talk about the leadership skills they learn in this aviation academy and training program.
Most definitely, you have to be a leader in mind, body, spirit, of course, because in order for you to have that, to become a pilot, it requires such a discipline. You have to disregard all of the distractions. That will definitely be an issue for you. You definitely have to stand out. You definitely have to put in that work, because it requires, especially theoretically, it requires a lot of focus and discipline for sure. So leadership definitely is shown in that particular person for sure. They do stand out.
In light of recent events, and I know it happened during the summer, so maybe you haven't had a time to speak with your students as yet, but have any of them reached out to you and say, you know, Captain, I now see the importance of many things you would have shared with us and what the other instructors put us through and the rest of that? Like, what has been the response?
The response has definitely been a more serious approach, of course, and they definitely agree to pay attention to detail, especially with preparation for both themselves mentally and also when it comes to flying, ensuring that the aircraft is safe for flight.
Very important lessons. Well, Kyla, now I don't know if all 20 of the students were in the aviation program were able to do what you did, but give us an idea of just how first of all, how serious you're taking a career in aviation and where that took you this summer.
How serious I am in aviation was it actually allowed me to be able to go on a global trip and be able to go and speak and get knowledge from each and every individual pilot that I met from every different airline that we went on.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the airlines you flew and it made an intentional effort to meet those pilots.
So the intention and the purpose of me going to meet the pilots is to find the best college I could possibly go to, find about the price, find about everything that I would need to know as I try and to continue my journey on becoming a pilot when I get older.
So which airlines you flew and who were the nicest pilots?
The nicest pilots I would say was from, I think that was Kenya Airlines.
Kenya Airlines.
We flew from Ghana to Kenya.
Super. Listen, you all heard that? He went, all the way to Africa. All this happened from the time school closed to at this moment right here, him sitting here this evening. Talk about the trip to Kenya or Ghana. Talk about that experience.
So being able to go inside of the motherland / Ghana was eye-opening, as we got to see the culture, the different type of people there, and we also got to see the tourist sites that we went to. We also got to see how they treated the slaves back in the day, as they still have remains of where they kept the slaves or where they were. And the flight experience from Ghana to Kenya was awesome, as not only was I able to experience good emotion from not only the flight attendants from the crew, but Also during the trip, I was able to go inside the Boeing 787 where we flew from London to India.
Is that your dream? Because London to India, I mean, that's one of those huge aircraft, huh? I imagine the pilots, they had told you about their levels you've got to go through to get to something like flying something like that.
He actually told me that you needed over 300 hours to fly to get onto one of the main airlines or one of the big planes.
Over 300 hours. I saw a photo of you when we started the segment of you and a pilot. Where was he? Which airline was he from, and how was it speaking with him?
So actually, that person, his name was Carl. He flies for NetJet. He's one of the private flyers.
Learjet?
I would say NetJet.
NetJet. Okay.
So he is one of the private flyers that fly for, I wouldn't say for everyone, not the local people, but I would say the upper class, the high class people. And he was able to pass down some knowledge, and he was actually able, he said that when he's retiring, he would want me to fly his retirement flight.
You heard that? You better hold him to that. You better hold him to... Captain, so listen, this experience that he had, and I know a few other students also did some stuff aviation related this summer as well. I mean, how important is it for them to you know, here it is, Kyla just wasn't playing, I don't know, jacks on the side of the street this summer. He was out there networking, speaking with pilots, doing what it is that this program has instilled within him and made him to come and appreciate and love about aviation.
Yes, I would encourage the others to do the same. You can only go as far as your mind perceives, and it definitely requires you to put yourself out there, also to garner a network like Kyla did, to continue on. There are persons in the local and international community, as you can see, willing to assist you along the way. Take advantage of the opportunity and approach them. They're here to help. I'd also like to speak and give kudos to our local aviation community. They have also been a great help as it relates to aviation career awareness program for Catherine and all of my other endeavors as it relates to aviation education.
That's really awesome. Yes, Kylie, you wanted to say something?
No.
Well,
I was just listening to what she had to say.
Yeah. Well, by the way, what are you going in 11th grade? I imagine you will obviously stick with the aviation program at a Catherine. Of course, at a Catherine. What's your vision for this new school year?
My vision is to continue on the path that I'm going on, continue to do what I have to do, and continue to get the knowledge and everything that's passed down onto me from all the more experienced pilots, I would say. Going into grade 11, I hope to see, I hope to accomplish everything that's expected of me, and I hope to be able to complete my dream since I was 2 years old. To fly.
This has been a dream from 2 years old?
Yes, Mom.
And look at you living it. I mean, you flew at 14/15. You see that? That was so cool, right? You flew at 14/15. It was his birthday, all. Captain, what's your vision for this new school year for those like Kyla who will remain in the program and perhaps some new enrollees?
Well, I'd like to encourage them to, if that's your dream, go for it. Instill the discipline, drive, determination, approach it one step at a time, and you will achieve what you set out to.
I thank you all very much. I'm excited. It was so awesome hearing about this wonderful program, and Kyla, everything you're doing at a Catherine, really just incredible. Congratulations. You wanted to say something, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to say and give a shout out to the Airport Division of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Also, my comrades in the Air Support Services, my captain, Miss Caroline Darwell.
Miss?
Miss.
Well, look at
yes.
Miss
Caroline Darwell, who is the officer in charge there. Also, Superintendent Larry Brown and the team. Thank you so much for allowing me to spread my wings. And yes, that's it.
High flyers in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I tell you, the aviation, you all have some good pilots, though. I remember flying on the police plane once or twice for work. for work. Yeah, they don't just fly you. I tell you that. But no, thank you for being here. And you know what? Hello to that division, the aviation division as well.
And I also would like to also give a thank you to all the sponsors that helped me be able to accomplish and go on the global trip. And thank you to Captain Bodie for the training that I attended. And thank you to Dr. Higgs for also giving me the opportunity to go on the trip.
But you know, Dr. Higgs, look like you're turning out stupendous, incredible students. I tell you that, if Kyler is any indication. I thank you all so much. Really exciting hearing about what's happening at Catherine. The fact that these students are having hands-on, real-time, real-life experiences out there to prepare them for a life once they graduate. So that's really, really awesome. Thank you for being here, Captain. And thank you for being here, Kyler. Soon to be captain as well, eh?
Hopefully.
And I want to say a huge thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. It's been awesome having you here. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.